One of the biggest things that I've been finding myself leaning into extra hard is utilizing the things that I already have. I started to simplify my desk and tech setup. I always want my spaces to feel welcoming and that multiple people can be in here and it not be difficult. I wanted to be able to see into the room. Simplifying my setup has been something that I've really been aiming to do because I recognize that in the past, I've accumulated a lot of stuff. It's easy. Sometimes you invest in something and you use it for a little bit, then things change and you stop using it or you don't use it as much. One of those things for me has been computers. When I bought my Mac Mini, it was solely to be my main machine. It was going to be where I edited, handled all my admin tasks, things like that. But every job that I've had for the past 5 years have always provided a laptop, and it's always been a Mac. But eventually, if I left, I had to return it. And so it brought me back to having my Mac Mini as my main machine. One of my first major business purchases when I set up my business Amazon account was my MacBook Air, the Gold 2021, one of the first M1 Airs. Loved it because I could go anywhere I needed to. It was light. It did everything that I needed. Of course, with the ecosystem, I can transfer files. It was really easy to do and use. I had invested in a used iMac a while back. It actually was what I used to start the podcast and everything. And when I upgraded to the M1 Mac Mini, I couldn't really use it anymore. It became this admin computer. It now sits in one of our spare rooms. When I built my PC, I had to have my PC and my Mac Mini share my monitors. Not a crazy big deal. Most of them come with multiple inputs for it. The annoying part is that I had to manually switch it, and there's no remotes to my monitors, and I don't have a switch to hook them into in order to just press a button and it flops over. When I started working for my last company, because I was streaming more and being able to use OBS to be flexible for a lot of things, I started using my PC tower more. And then when I moved here, same thing happened. I was using my PC tower more, and then I would just use an adapter and hook it up to my laptop and use my screens to do anything that I needed to do for my laptop for work. It just, again, over time, I have all of these computers. Now I have a MacBook Pro, MacBook Air, a Mac Mini, a PC tower, and 2 iPads. The iPads aren't going anywhere. I have all of these things. What am I using it all for? Yeah, do I want the latest and greatest? But this MacBook Pro is what? I think it's a 21. It's the M1, but it is a little bit better in terms of stats. The Mac Mini, I got the very base setting. It was what I could afford. When I moved here, I've got all of these things. I've got all of these cameras too. And by this point, I have 2 podcast mixers. I just realized that I just have all this stuff. And I really wanted to streamline what I had. Now, part of going to a PC meant that using my audio gear was a bit of a challenge because I ended up with a mic that was USB only, and I'm used to using my Rodecaster Pro with my Mac Mini, and I was streaming from my Mac Mini for a while when I got into Twitch heavily, and I was able to use my Rodecaster Pro to route all my sound. But once I got that tower, it became a little bit more complicated because I didn't really need to reset up everything over there. I was like, this is going to be the fun computer. This is going to be where I game and where I will do my streaming. And then the other part will be for when I do my podcast and stuff like that. I was starting to do the thing again where it's just throw money at it. Just throw money at it and it'll be fine. And I can't really do that now. There's a part of me that's like, I could have did better about saving, could have did better about this, about that. But I had the means to because I was working. Now I have all this stuff and I don't know what to do with it. I was in the process of consolidating. I consolidated my monitors I was in the process of consolidating my computers. I now use my PC to do most of my editing for my videos, both short form and the YouTube videos. I've gotten this little mobile rolling desk that I was going to hook up the Mac Mini to. I had a spare monitor that I could put on it and have my entire podcasting setup right there. I hadn't fully really wrapped my head getting back into it, and I was still torn between what I wanted Healing in Hindsight to be. I only got to really use it once. Then I had the unfortunate incident of my 34-inch curved monitor breaking while trying to move the mounts around, and so the two smaller monitors that I used to have that I was putting elsewhere, I had to bring them back. And thankfully I still had my 32-inch monitor that I was using as my secondary monitor to put it back together and still be able to do my work. I had more than enough space to do everything I needed to. I'm talking about this because as I started to get into the swing of creating these vlogs and finalizing what I want Healing in Hindsight's brand refresh to be, and feeling really good and really strong about the direction that I want to take it in, and at some point I got to get back to recording episodes, I was trying to solve a problem of tech, software, all this kind of stuff. I was creeping to a point of just throw money at it. Part of that was I was going to sell a bunch of stuff. I still am. There's still some things that I'm going to sell. But I wasn't always utilizing what I already had. Perfect example. I edit all my videos. I've been using the Adobe suite. I tried to use it years ago and was struggling with it. But I have a license for Final Cut Pro. I had only switched to Premiere because it's universal. It can be on either machine. I have access to the entire Creative Cloud suite, so I could use After Effects, which was my kind of next thing that I wanted to get into, is just really learning motion graphics and things like that. I realized, especially with Adobe coming out with this very interesting updated terms, that I'm spending money to edit my videos. I'm not paying an editor, I'm doing it. Instead of using what I already have, I'm pretty much just burning a hole in my pocket to get different assets and templates and things like that. I really like Motion Array. It's done me well, and they have a plugin as well that works with all of the major editors, and that's been great. I started to toy around with DaVinci Resolve, seeing that it's grown in popularity, definitely has the better color grading, and wanting to see if I could utilize that because, again, it's universal. If I was going to stop my Adobe subscription, I was going to need a replacement in order to be able to keep editing. I wanted to be able to edit on my laptop if I wanted to be on the go, or my main computer. I've been using my cloud drives to transfer files and hold video footage and stuff like that. Now that I am ending or have ended my Adobe subscription, I was faced with the challenge of, okay, do I now purchase DaVinci Resolve Studio? I know there's plenty of people who use the free version, and again, I'm still paying for Motion Array, and it offers plenty of things that I can use with it without having to utilize any of the premium features with DaVinci Resolve. My only gripe, and Blackmagic, it would be great if you did this. You could just hide the paid features. I get that kind of defeats the purpose, and right now my focus is what I do have. Now, I like DaVinci Resolve. I am gonna keep it on my MacBook Pro and my PC Tower for color grading. It's just so much easier to really tweak things. I realized that I just don't have the space to spend $300 on software when I already have software, because that's one thing that I'm transitioning to, is as much as possible one and done. Although I can't say that I won't purchase Resolve Studio in the future, in order to continue this momentum that I have in recording and creating and building my business back up, I need to utilize what I have. My biggest thing for not going back to Final Cut is because I can't use it on my PC. One of my other concerns was I need to be able to access files from both computers. 90% of what I'm using is cross-compatible with Mac OS and Windows, the exception of Final Cut Pro. The one thing about Mac Minis and Mac Pros is it's great if you don't need the other accessories. Although I would like a Switch and it's still on my Amazon list, I have decided that, you know what? I bought this Mac Mini to originally be for my content creation machine. I think that's what I'm going to go back to doing. My PC tower was meant to be for all my Twitch things and fun stuff like gaming. My dad has always preached having a really good desktop, and that's what Kuromi is. The answer to what I was looking for to continue streamlining and simplifying my setup was right here. I am going to hook up my Mac Mini to this setup. At the end of the day, I have 2 inputs per monitor. I don't need 3 screens for the Mac Mini. Really just need this main one in front of me. I can still access my PC while working on my Mac Mini when it comes to content stuff. I think it also helps me to separate work for me. It'll help with the cross-compatibility thing because, one, I'm able to access my iCloud Drive from my PC, but I can easily drag and drop files or airdrop files to my MacBook Pro if I need to do anything on the go. I did already go through this Mini I was actually prepping to sell it. I'm absolutely selling the MacBook Air. I just don't need it. It's sitting, collecting dust in its case. Now that I have the Pro, I thought I was going to have to send this back because it was previously from an employer and they allowed me to keep it. Just, it's going to work better. Instead of trying to worry about buying another software to work on everything, I at least know that I can. But I also have all the means on both machines to do pretty much the bare minimum of what I've been needing to do. So it's just this idea of simplifying that has been helping me a lot and utilizing what I have. I am really very much in a done is better than perfect mode. I am 90% there with having this room, this studio office that I have really put my heart and soul into, completely set up the way that I like it. It's just a couple of little things that I need to do, but overall, it's pretty much there. It's really not that difficult for me to go ahead, set up my podcast and filming, then break it all down and put it away. I'm just glad that I had the moment of clarity this morning of like, you know what? You have already paid for and stays updated and all of that Final Cut Pro and Motion, because I really want to learn and be able to do motion graphics. It's shown me that I'm a lot more capable than I initially thought. That's always a hard pill to swallow because then it's like, if you're so damn capable, why haven't you been doing this and why haven't you done that? Why? You throw yourself into all of these hypotheticals and theories that don't fucking matter. They don't. What matters is right now what I can do. What can I use? What resources are available to me? And continuing to not allow what I would like to have paralyze me from working with what I got. It helps me slow down and really evaluate if it's worth it. If it is, then creating a reward system to earn it. Because when it comes to gear, you gotta earn it some kind of way. Whether you're paying for it out of pocket, whether it's gifted to you because you're doing your content creation and a company recognizes you for your efforts, that's still earning it in some way and they want you to review their product. When it comes to gear, when it comes to tangible handheld stuff or software, you earn it in a way. I feel like it's helpful for me. Okay, if I really want the 13-inch iPad Pro, which I do, I got a reward system in place to justify me getting that. The moral of the story here is, what can you do? What do you already have? If you're out there and you're wanting to jump into content creation, or you're wanting to start a podcast, or you're wanting to start a business, or whatever it is, and you're looking at buying a bunch of stuff, it's not to say that you might not need to buy certain things, but I challenge you to see what you already have. Think about what you can do, what you can set up. Tap into your resources in your network. There's actually a lot of things that I'm using that's free in terms of software. There are very specific things that I have paid for because they were, in fact, valuable to my workflow. It does not change that once a quarter. I go through my business expenses and I check to see, is this something I still need? which is why I'm saying goodbye to Adobe. But I do have a way to consolidate and not have to spend more money. I can recreate pretty much everything that I was doing in Premiere and all those other softwares that I was using. I found a way to still use my Mac Mini and not be so concerned that I can't use Final Cut on my PC. I'm going to get to work on setting this up and clearing some stuff off because I wanted to give it a fresh, clean slate. Catch you in the next one.